Hey guys, so what are some of my influences from comics? Well, I suppose I'll just start right off and date myself a little bit. I grew up in the 70s and the 80s period, so a lot of the artists that were around during that time were big influences on me as a child and just wanting to learn how to create and draw. You've got the King, Jack Kirby. Undeniable. I love just how energetic his imagery is. Um, that some of the other influences would be Steranko, that was trying to incorporate a lot of fine art influences into comic books with some of his imagery, and John Romita Sr., Joe Kubert, Neil Adams. I mean, there's so many different incredible artists that came out in that era that I drew inspiration from. And that's kind of what got me started drawing in the first place was looking at comic books, seeing movies, all those kinds of things. I remember as a child, I would draw all these little stick figure kind of pictures of Star Wars after seeing that movie for the first time when it first came out, and it captured my imagination. And that's exactly what happened with comic books too. The first time that I saw one of those down at the local drugstore on the little wire turn racks, I begged to get one of those. And then it kind of became a little bit of a regular staple. Every time we'd go down there, I'd see if I could talk my dad into letting me pick one or two of them up. And that's kind of where it started. My workflow, I'll spin around here and kind of show you guys a little bit, is I don't know if it's traditional or not. This is the first book that I've ever tried to illustrate. So hopefully you guys all enjoy my work as you're seeing it. But I'll flip the camera around here and give you a little bit of talk through. So here's the script, and usually I'd just start off with little thumbnails like this. I kind of real small, real loose, just basic shapes, kind of capturing where I think the words, the word boxes and balloons might go. And then I would work that up into a larger rough image here, uh, like like this one. As you can see, a lot more detail now. Not completely finished, but gives me the basic idea of what I'm wanting to do here on this page. From there, I would then typically scan it into the computer. So here we go, is the image scanned into the computer. And then maybe make some changes here. Most of the time, well, at least on this page, I didn't make any changes. But sometimes I'll alter things around here on the computer, and then I will blow that up and print it off so that I can transfer it to the comic pages and start my inking process. Typically, I'm using this light table right here with my blown up image. I'll usually tape that onto the back and then go ahead and use that light table to ink everything in. And that's the process in a nutshell. Give you a little closer details on some of these things. I like to go back in, if I can, with some white ink to get some different effects. Sometimes a little bit of spattering of black inks here and there as well. And, I'm still continuing to experiment and try new things, and I hope that you guys like the final results. I've been drawing, like I said, since I was a child, and so that's just kind of continued throughout my life. Um, I've had periods of time where I wasn't able to pick up the pencil for a while and do some drawing. And I think, you know, it's something that I feel like I need to do. It's kind of a release for me. Just sitting down and drawing, kind of forgetting about everything else, and just letting my creative juices flow. Um, I'm largely self-taught just by um, continuing to practice, looking at books and other artists. I did go to school for fine arts, but at the time, the teachers and professors that I had uh, were kind of a offhand approach to teaching. So they would just kind of let you go and experiment and try things without a lot of direction or direct teaching. So even though I do have that background, most of my skills, drawing skills, are basically just from practice and continuing to constantly learn and try new things and study artists. Well, it was kind of an amazing coincidence how me and the guys from HyperRot got hooked up. I was just surfing social media one day and I came across a call for an artist for a comic project. And it happened to be the guys over there at HyperRot and 1900. And I checked it out and I was really intrigued by the idea that they had for this comic book. It really resonated with me. They wanted to do a throwback kind of to 80s era, which is the era that I kind of grew up in. And came with a little bit of a heavy metal flavor to it, which also resonated with me. And so I was kind of excited when I saw this call for artist, and at the same time I saw that those guys had been checking out my social media accounts, and so I reached out to them and uh, asked if there was anything that I could do for them and their project, and we got into discussions with one another, and they sent me a little sample page to work up to see what I could do. They liked the work. They liked the work that they had seen that I had posted online, and we struck a deal. And now we're off to create this book for all you. Well, hands down, Spider-Man is my favorite character. I've always loved Spider-Man. That was the first one that captured me when I was a kid and I started getting into comic books. I don't know. I just love Spidey. I think what I like about him is that he's just a kid, you know, and or a young adult, depending on the story you're reading. But he has real life problems. Like he has a job, he's got bills to pay, he has problems with his relationships, and on top of that, he's still trying to be a superhero and save people. And so I think that's what I really enjoyed about him, and it made that character relatable for me. Is that he was just kind of a kid, you know, an average guy that just happened to have superpowers that allowed him to save the world sometimes. So hands down, Spider-Man number one.